Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Meet 6-year-old Ankita Bharadwaj, a resident of Bengaluru who was born with a less known of and talked about condition, Cleft. For the last 5 years, Ankita has been receiving treatment for her condition at the center set up at Bhagwan Mahavir Jain Hospital by Smile Train, an international children's charity working towards making cleft care accessible. Can you repeat your name, Ankita?
Ankita.
How long have you been coming here?
5 years. 5 years.
Which class are you in?
Which class you're in? First grade.
First grade.
Yes.
Do you like Dr. Auntie? Is she nice?
Yes.
What does she do? Does she help you with your speech?
Yes.
Talk? What do you have to do for Dr. Auntie? What do you do?
What do you do? I love her. I love her.
As it turns out, Ankita's condition isn't as rare or uncommon. We've seen it in many people, including actor Joaquin Phoenix. In fact, every year, 1 in every 700 babies globally are born with cleft. So, what is this condition? A congenital defect. Cleft lip and palate are openings or splits in the upper lip and the roof of the mouth that occurs when facial structures are developing in an unborn baby.
When a child is born with this difference, there can be a number of issues associated with that. Particularly when it is the cleft of the palate, we have more problems. When a baby is born, the first thing that the baby does is start breastfeeding from the mother. And this very natural and joyful thing does not happen with babies with cleft palate because they find it difficult to do breastfeeding because there is a gap between the mouth and the nose and it doesn't allow them to effectively suckle. So the problems for the mother and child starts at the time of the baby's birth. When they have just cleft lip alone, then breastfeeding is not an issue that can be done comfortably. But when with the cleft of the palate, feeding becomes an issue. So the problem number one as the baby is born to train the mother and baby to a different form of feeding. If it is not done effectively, if the mother is not educated effectively, then it can give rise to a significant malnourishment of the child. Once that is over, it's obviously a problem where it is visible. If you can understand, face is the part of the body where everybody focuses on. When you see somebody and if there is an obvious difference, it becomes noticeable and it becomes an issue of social problems for the parents, particularly the mother. In addition to that, swallowing and speaking are two major issues that require an intact and functioning palate. So if there is a cleft in the palate, initially the child finds it difficult to swallow, and then when she grows up and starts speaking, the speech will not be very intelligible to others because we need a functioning soft palate to be able to speak normally.
It's all about psychosocial impact, also about isolation, about being ostracized, being bullied, being talked about. And not only that, the child, you already know, in our country, we, especially the rural population or the poor population, we are not living in singular and nuclear families, right? So the family includes your relatives, the neighborhood, in fact, the whole village is your family. So when a child is born with a cleft, say in a household, it's a ripple effect. The entire community gets affected. Why? Because, the mother is often blamed for actually, producing a child like that. People do not know that clefts are treatable and often associate clefts with myths and bad karma. They may not even get a surgery done because of these associations. In fact, such beliefs lead to discrimination. And we've seen that stigma can tear families apart, forcing parents to either hide or abandon their children or worse, even commit infanticide. It's that grave, it's that bad.
Unbeknownst to many, cleft is treatable, but the treatment itself is a long drawn one that should ideally begin within the first 10 days of the child being born.
If we have to look at the holistic management of these children, it starts from the time they're born till they grow up to be adults. There are different components of the therapy that is required at different times intervals, and also with inputs from different specialists. Hence, we always have what we call a multidisciplinary or an interdisciplinary team of specialists that comes in and provides the treatment or inputs as and when required. In our unit, we do a procedure called as nasoalveolar molding. Basically, what we are doing here is, before we operate and set the lip and nose right, we, with the help of an appliance, this is done by a specialist called the orthodontist. With the help of an appliance, the therapy for which is started in the first 10 days of life, we try to gently mold the tissues to a more normal position. By the time the child is 4 to 5 months old, she has grown up to be 5 or 6 kgs in weight. The molding has given us a better shape to the nose and the gums inside. We are ready to do the operation for the lip. So the cleft lip is operated. It's a 45 minutes to 1 hour procedure, where we then get the integrity of the lip and the nose restored. And 3 months later, or when the child is about 9 months old, we do the second operation, what is called as the palatoplasty, or repair of the cleft palate. The ideal time to do this is between 9 and 12 months of age, because we want to have a structurally integral palate before the child starts speaking. Like I mentioned earlier, speech can be a problem with cleft palate, and if we don't have a functioning palate as the child starts to utter meaningful words, we are in trouble. So 9 to 12 months is considered as the optimal or ideal time to repair these cleft palates, and that is our second surgery. So at the end of this procedure, what we call as a primary treatment is over. And then we follow up the child as she starts developing language skills and speech skills. This is where our speech pathologist comes in.
We start seeing them from 1 year of age, so soon after the palate repair is done, which is usually done by 8-9 months. And then we start off with the language therapy, so where they have to pick up the language, whatever language, mother tongue they have to speak. So generally most of these kids are normal otherwise, so they would learn on their own. So we instruct parents, counsel them on how to modify things at home. And then after a stage when they find that there is errors, like we saw in the other kid, so she is not completely clear, they might have nasal problem, like nasality, air coming from the nose, or they'll have sounds which is not pronounced correctly. We'll have to treat that specifically. So there are diagnostic testing to find out if there is any structural problem still persisting. And therapeutic, so like play therapy we'll call it. Okay, so it's fun ways of teaching them how to produce the sounds, practice all those.
The sooner they start with this treatment, the better.
Yes, sooner, because once it is learned, it's difficult to unlearn and relearn. It's better to teach them early itself. So early intervention is the key.
Given that the cost for cleft care ranges from 2 to 3 lakh rupees, accessibility still remains an issue, one that Smile Train is working to solve. For instance, in the past 10 years, Dr. Bonantaya, who's also a project director at the children's charity, has performed over 8,000 free cleft lip and palate surgeries.
There is still 3 major problems, the 3 A's, which I call them. One is awareness, one is affordability, and the third is accessibility. So, yes, awareness is important, but sometimes we have seen that even if people are aware, they cannot afford the treatment because they feel that it is like, done by a plastic surgeon. So that is equal to a cosmetic surgery, equal to something which is in your face. So it is just enhancing your looks and that's it. So that is one. Then the third is accessibility. So yes, especially we have seen that in the rural areas or the back or beyond areas where infrastructure in our country is still a little challenging. So the message down there, when it goes, then, people actually find it difficult to get their child to, the nearest smile training center.
Beyond these challenges, there are still several gaps in policy which impede cleft care. Unlike several countries, India does not have a birth defects registry, and craniofacial conditions like clefts are not notifiable diseases which can help with early interventions. According to experts, only if we record and take cognizance of this prevalent condition will children like Ankita get the help they need from an early age. From Bengaluru, this is Angana Chakrabarti reporting for ThePrint.